So the man has spoken himself. We've been making videos over the past few weeks talking about Sidney Crosby, because he is an apparent trade discussion article of news nowadays, which is fine, right? I guess it's fine. I don't really think he's ever going to get traded, but you know what? The possibility of it actually presenting itself in the media has made for some very fun discussions and some very fun YouTube videos. But because it's been Darren Dreger coming out here talking about the possibilities, talking about different teams, it's never really been something that we've been used to. This idea that Sidney Crosby, of all people, is a guy who might be traded. So what we have here is a new interview done with Sidney Crosby, published on the the Pittsburgh Penguins social media. This is an article over here on NHL.com, and the actual interview, the video interview, was published on the Penguins Twitter account. I believe it was done over Zoom, and it talks about Sidney Crosby and how exactly he wants to stay with the Pittsburgh Penguins for the rest of his NHL career. Now, flashback, the reason why we're even talking about Crosby trade rumors is because of the direction the Pittsburgh Penguins are going towards. With the acquisition of Brian Burke and Ron Hextall, they've confirmed that the Penguins are in a position where they want to go out there and win. The mandate that Mario Lemieux set out to them when they were hired was, hey, we want another parade here in Pittsburgh. So that is the short-term goal. The problem with the Penguins is that they have no future depth, no prospects, no picks, no nothing. So what Darren Dreger proposed the other week, whatever it was, and that was actually covered in a few videos and articles that we posted on this YouTube channel, was the idea of Sidney Crosby doing the Penguins a favor. At the end of his career, saying to Pittsburgh, hey, you guys can go ahead and trade me. I'll go over to Colorado to play with Nathan MacKinnon, or I'll go over onto Montreal and play for the team that my dad was drafted by. I'll do this with the intention of you guys going out there and acquiring draft picks, prospects, and youthful exuberance for the future, because you guys have none of that right now. And if I, Sidney Crosby, demand a trade to go elsewhere, you guys can get a first-class opportunity to building that system up. Sound good? That's the idea that Darren Dreger proposed. That might be something that could happen, that he said he wouldn't be surprised if it did happen, but Crosby is coming out here and saying the contrary, how he wants to stay with the Pens for the rest of his career. Let's take a look at some of the quotes over here that Sidney Crosby laid out when it comes to this interview. Nothing has changed, the Penguins captain said. The rumors are definitely kind of a new subject that I've had to deal with and hear about a little bit, but I love playing here in Pittsburgh. This is where I would love to play for the rest of my career, so I can't really control what's said or rumors or things like that, but that's just kind of how I approach it. The article then goes over and talks about how Crosby was first overall in 2005, he's a champion, Stanley Cup champion, all the trophies he has won, all that stuff that NHL fans kind of know about. Yeah, you don't really need to tell us how many cups he has won, but yeah, that's indeed something that is important to the context. With his NHL career entering its later stages, Crosby said he isn't looking ahead to retirement. I think, as long as I feel good, I would love to play as long as I can, Crosby says. I don't really have an idea of what that age or number is. I think I just focus on playing out my contract and seeing where I'm at then. I feel really good. I feel good, and I want to play as long as I can, so I guess we'll have to see. Talk about repetitive. Oh boy, slap me, Sidney. Pittsburgh coach Mike Sullivan said it's a privilege to have Crosby, and it was a nightmare to coach against him before being hired by the Penguins on December 12, 2015. He says this, I think Sidney Crosby encapsulates everything it is to be a Pittsburgh Penguin. He is the identity of this team. The team is built around him. That's what he means to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's what he means to this community. There also are indeed a few other quotes here that I think are pretty cool. This is what Crosby talks about when it comes to how he arrived back at Pittsburgh International Airport in 2005. Just the amount of people that were there, just the excitement, and just how welcome I felt from the very first day I got here in Pittsburgh from that experience on. I think, as far as what I felt that day, I felt the entire time since I have been here. And that's just a real passion for the game and for our team, supportive fans who are with us all the time. The article then goes over a few other flashback questions, talking about Crosby's first memories, scoring his first goals, all that stuff, which is really cool, but it's not really relevant to the topic that we're discussing over here. Pretty much, Crosby is saying, yeah, the rumors, they exist, but I'm just going to hold my head up high, play my game, and continue loving the city of Pittsburgh the way that I've loved it the entire time I've been here. Which is a very mature response, I would say that. Crosby definitely is somebody who is brand new to trade rumors. As we've said, there are some guys out there in the NHL and in the past who are just so involved in rumors over and over and over again. Obviously, it's not even limited to just plugs. It's like stars. Sometimes stars legitimately get into these as well. Malkin's a name that always pops up in there. Letang is a name too, if we're going to speak just with Pittsburgh. Even kind of relating to Pittsburgh, Phil Kessel is a guy who's always in trade rumors. Taylor Hall was in trade rumors a ton. Then, of course, we had Patrick Laine and Pierre-Luc Dubois, mostly because they wanted out. But for Sidney Crosby, he's been a guy who has been in this league for such a long time, and he's never really been a part of that. There have never been Crosby trade rumors, especially to the extent that we're having this year with the Darren Dreger comments on TSN and all that stuff. So it's certainly a big change of pace, but Crosby is dealing with it in the way that we kind of know Crosby would probably deal with it, where he is just kind of holding his head up high and saying, yeah, I'm just going to do my thing, not really let these rumors get to me. Crosby this season, if you're wondering, because he is kind of an important player in this hockey league, is up there at 13 points in 15 games played. Yeah, he's a point per game player, no surprises there. He is really just kind of laying it on in terms of being able to produce, and he has been one of the most consistent forwards the entire past decade and a half he has been in the NHL. So what more is there to say about Sidney Crosby? Whether it's Colorado, New York, Montreal, any team that goes out there and maybe tries to acquire him, you're going to have to give up an arm and a leg for this guy. No questions asked. You overpay for guys like Crosby. We said this in the Eichel video yesterday, but for stars like these, you overpay. For Sidney Crosby, you might have to be able to underpay a little bit compared to Jack Eichel, because Eichel is 23, 24 years old. He's going to be really good for the next decade and a half. Crosby's got a little bit of a more tight expiration date because he is a lot older than Jack Eichel is, literally 10 years apart. But still, man, it's Crosby. He's still a point-per-game player. All these years later, he is still a legitimately elite grinder, playmaker, passer, all that stuff. All the little intricate things in the game of hockey Sidney Crosby is really good at. So you're going to have to trade an arm and a leg for this guy. It's not just going to be all your garbage. Oh, here's our third-line center and a second-round pick for Sidney Crosby. No, it's got to be one of your best players, if not your absolute best player, a top prospect, and maybe a first-round pick as well. Add some other stuff on top of that too, because it's Sidney Crosby you're talking about here. And of course, the only way a Crosby trade would even go through is because Crosby himself is the guy who says he wants it, which is what Darren Dreger proposed. But, he kind of contradicts that in this article, this interview here. He says, no, I don't want to leave. I'm going to stay here, bud. So talk to me in the comments what you thought about this Sidney Crosby update, I guess. Since we did it with Eichel yesterday, I was like, hey, why don't we do it again? Because we do have another update with this Crosby trade situation here on the interview. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought about this video topic here. Hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.